data is the issue that runs through all of our issues, and had a big discussion today on all things data as well. CTEC, as you might know, is a new center at the Chamber. We're about 2 years old. We are engaged with both non-tech and tech companies and bringing them together to have discussions around technology, and we have 3 working groups focused on the topics that I mentioned to you earlier. And today I am joined with a CTEC advisory board member, Jim Caput from Zebra Technologies, and he was also on a panel today on IoT. And thank you, Jim, for joining me here. First of all, why don't you give me some background and some understanding of what Zebra Technologies is and what your focus is on?
Well, thanks, Tim. Thanks for having me here. Well, what does Zebra Technologies Corporation do? We're located in Lincolnshire, Illinois, but we have global operations. We play in the IoT space. I was on the IoT panel today, and where we play is what we call the enterprise asset intelligence segments of IoT. So our customers, our end users, are business-to-business enterprises. It's also business-to-government enterprises. And what we do through our leading product lines of scanners, barcode printers, thermal printers, but you know them mostly as barcode printers, as well as ruggedized mobile computers for the enterprise space, is we connect people, assets, transactions. We basically give a digital voice to those things to create a digital voice for the operations of a company. It allows a company or a business to sense what is going on. It also allows them to analyze what is going on and then to act on it.
Very good.
And it's that kind of digital voice that improves operations for businesses worldwide.
One thing that I felt was really interesting today, your case study, you're talking about your customer at the NFL and the wearables. That was a very interesting kind of a use case that I thought might be something you would want to share here today.
Yeah, some people know, most people don't know that, for example, all NFL players, people, assets of the business, I hate to say it and put it that way, but It's true, are tagged by active radio frequency ID tags that allow the teams, the NFL, to track all the movements of all the players, how fast they're going, how far they're going, how high they're going, all of those things. It not only could provide an in-game experience or a broadcast experience for a fan, it also allows coaches after the fact, when they get the data, which they do today, the day after the games, in order to analyze what happened, how were the plays run, all those kinds of things to analyze how their assets are doing.
No, that's incredible. I had not realized that until today, and I really appreciated you taking the time to share that with us. We had a lot of, as I said, a lot of topics discussed today, and a lot of discussion on cybersecurity, and again, going back to all things data. What was your main takeaway, and what was your thoughts about the overall sentiment of the conversations and the panels and keynotes today?
Very good. In a word, excellent. Just having the conference caused me, as the general counsel of Zebra, and to think really hard around what are the liability issues, what are the and legitimate liability issues around data privacy, transfer, storage of data from personal to just business analytics. How does that work in the current framework? How will it apply? How should it apply? And it has helped me as we've thought about what our new, frankly, business models are, or revenue models from our perspective, or a cost model to a customer.
Right.
What does that mean for us? And how should we at Zebra, a business-to-business enterprise, where we think every customer has standing to complain to us.
Exactly.
Right? Different than a business-to-consumer context, right? That's a huge difference. How are we going to address those issues, solve them contractually through statements of work, being clear about what is the scope of our duties and responsibilities? These are things that all kinds of technology companies, in fact, I shouldn't even say technology companies, all kinds of companies, as more and more things get censored, right? And censored in the sense of SEN-SOR, a sensor attached to it, a tag attached to it. These are issues that we all have to begin to wrestle with, right? And so this conference, I think, brought together, there were panels, I know you've already mentioned them, but we also talked about the sharing economy, as well, plus the panels on autonomous vehicles, for example, drones, and IoT, both in the B2C space and Zebra in the B2B space.
Great. And I thought the other interesting topic today, we had a keynote address by the Utah Attorney General today.
Yes.
That was really interesting, I thought, and I think his, engaging or wanting to engage with business was good, and I think something that we need to probably promote more, and looking at the State Attorney General's office as a key part of the work that we do at the state level, for sure.
Well, let me add to that. We at Zebra, and really almost no company, only the largest companies can engage at every level with all the stakeholders, the regulatory, the government stakeholders, right? So while we, as I mentioned earlier today, at Zebra began a couple of years ago to build sort of a brand awareness and an awareness around the issues, the peculiar issues for B2B, B2G enterprises in cybersecurity, data privacy, data transfer, and what we do. The Chamber's creation of the center, the Technology Engagement Center, has been a real, I think, benefit, and while we're all still getting our legs on this, will be a great benefit as a voice for the business to speak to all of these stakeholders, government stakeholders, including outside the United States. So it's not only at the federal level, but in the case of today, the Utah Attorney General speaking and giving us his perspective on his approach on regulation of all of these new and evolving technologies.
Right. No, I think, and that's part of the CTech focus, and part of our mission is to storytell. And I think a lot of times people don't understand the importance of really taking complex technology issues down to a level where legislators and regulators truly understand what impact they will have on what actions they take or don't take sometimes. And so I think it's important, and I really came out of today's discussion energized about a lot of work that needs to be done, quite frankly. One last question or thought. So Zebra is a global company, obviously, and I know you travel quite a bit around the globe. What are your thoughts, and what have you experienced with some of the things that you've picked up abroad, and comparing that to what the federal government is doing here and on some of the issues that are important to you?
Well, first of all, it's my sort of appreciation or realization that it's getting ever more complex. It's not because of the technology necessarily, although that's part of it. It's just that more and more countries have the right, and they do, sort of what I just call assert jurisdiction over issues around privacy, security. And so what we are experiencing, and I don't mean just Zebra, I mean businesses that are global, that cross transnational lines, is ever more complexity. And our goal is, at one level, I realize it's going to be there, the China cybersecurity legislation that goes into effect on June 1. What does that mean for Zebra when China is our third largest country, by revenues, right?
Right.
So it's going to be complex, but how do we ensure or try to at least get our voice in there to make sure there's what I just call not unnecessary complexity, right? We're not going to get the exact same standards from Europe, the EU, to China, to the US, but countries are more and more going to assert some kind of jurisdiction there, and it's not all going to be the same culture. There are cultural differences. There's cultural differences in the way we approach regulation, how we approach personal privacy, how we approach the protection of confidential information, all of those things. So companies who do work globally need to, I think, and should want to have a voice as these new policies, rules, laws are shaped.
Right. No, well, Jim, I can't agree more, and I truly appreciate you taking the time to join us in California today. I really believe, as part of CTech, collaboration is our key to success, and Jim has been a great partner, and we look forward to working with you and seeing you back in Washington, D.C.
All right. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you, Jim, very much.